criminal gangs, terrorists, and spies. The corruption case against Mayor Sheila Dixon just got a little smaller. Yesterday, the judge in the case threw out 4 perjury charges and 1 misconduct charge against the mayor. The charges surround whether or not she should have reported gifts received from developer Ronald Lipscomb, who was doing business with the city. So what do the new developments mean for the rest of her case? Defense attorney Steve Allen joins us this morning with more. Good morning.
Good morning, Patrice.
Interesting stuff here. All right, let's get you to give us some explanations here. The judge said the mayor's votes cannot be used against her. Explain that.
One of the oldest concepts in our law, going all the way back to the beginning of our country, is the concept of legislative immunity. Very simply, what that means is that legislators cannot be prosecuted for their legislative activities, for their votes, for the debate in connection with legislation. Otherwise, it would prevent them from exercising their discretion. They would be afraid to do things because of the retribution that might follow.
Well, if it goes back that far, wouldn't the prosecutor have known that? Why would you base your case or your arguments on that?
Well, it's a well-known and old concept. My guess is that the prosecutor did not believe that in this circumstance it would be applied as it was. I really think his biggest mistake was in connection with the mayor, because he did not have to introduce that evidence. The evidence of her votes really has nothing to do with whether or not she filled out the disclosure forms or told the truth. So I think he went what we might call a bridge too far, and as a result, he got spanked.
Now, as it results to the mayor's case, does the fact that these charges are no longer part of the case, does that taint how he'll be able to prosecute the rest of the case? Will people say, oh, the mayor said this was a witch hunt all along? It really must be because they've already thrown out some of the cases, charges.
Well, that's the way it is in the court of public opinion, and that's where your jury is drawn from. Jurors will now come to this case with the knowledge, because everybody knows about it, as to what's happened to the real corruption charges as opposed to the run-of-the-mill theft charges. It weakens this case, but in the courtroom, there'll be no reference to the fact that that part of the case has been dismissed.
He can re-indict the mayor. What would he have to do in order to do that, and is that likely?
It's possible. If he really wants to pursue these charges, all he needs to do is present a witness or two to the new grand jury to basically tell them the same evidence that the old grand jury saw, and of course he would not make any reference to the tainted evidence, and then could easily get an indictment.
Is it in his best interest to do that? Does that bolster the overall case? This
is the judgment that the state prosecutor has to make. The case is a stronger case, in my judgment, with the perjury charges than it is just a simple theft case.
Okay, 30 seconds. The Helen Holton case dropped entirely because everything was based on her votes. The prosecutor says he's going to appeal. What would be the basis for an appeal? How could he carry that case forward?
Well, the appeal will be based upon the argument that the judge misconstrued legislative immunity, and that under these circumstances it should not be applied. I think he's going to have a very difficult time convincing an appellate court of that. I think our case is probably gone forever.
All right. Steve Allen, thank you so much, as always. Coming up later this morning, a top pizza chain wants to give you money. Find out how you can win $25,000 by helping the man behind Papa John's. And it's the surprise hit reality show that's taken America by storm. What is the fascination with John and Kate plus 8? 7:22 is the time. You're watching Fox 45 Morning News, all local, all morning.